welcome to the Falconcast, the fastest growing podcast in the history of the known universe. And today we are at the Maple Leaf Pub, Elgin, in Louisiana, one of my favorite places. So if you're out and about or you just got off work, please come by and hang out. And welcome in Chuck, welcome in Flip. AJ will be joining us shortly. And yeah, I got to tell you, it's been an amazing week in a lot of ways. And I'm so happy to be here because this is one of my favorite places on the planet. And, there he is. You know what? Screw all the intro shit. Let's just bring in the badass that is AJ Hoffman,
What's up, brother?
one of my favorite people on the planet. And what's going on,
Rightfully
my
so.
man?
Rightfully so. I should
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
like this one of my favorite people. It should just be your favorite person.
Well, other than my sort of girlfriend, yeah, you're my favorite person. How's that?
I've known you longer than any of your relationships last. Let's face it.
Well, that's fair. Oh, and
How you doing, my man?
I'm doing okay, and this one ain't gonna last either. But
Of
you
course
know,
not.
so okay, fine. AJ's my favorite person on the planet. Fuck everybody else. How's
Fuck 'em.
that?
Fuck 'em.
What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Been a couple weeks. Good to see you back here, Freddie. What are you sipping on? A little vodka water, the Freddie special?
No, this is Rumpy on ice.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a full glass of just with no mixer. That's
Yeah.
Well, I know how this pod's gonna go. All right.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna get totally fucked up. Welcome in, Joel. Welcome, Chuck, Flip, everybody. Yeah, man. It's so funny because last week I know you told me you couldn't do the show, and so like 1 minute before the show, I remember because I'm a fucking idiot, right?
Yeah, I saw you tweet out, AJ will join me, and I'm like, fuck, I will. I was on an
Yeah,
airplane, I think.
I know. And so Brandon jumped on with me, and he did about 20 minutes because we were at coaches getting just totally fucking trash, shocker. And then Erica came on, and she was going to do 5 minutes, and everybody fucking loved her.
Of course, she's a woman.
Well, she's hot, and
People love women. Men love women. That's one thing I've learned in life. Men are a sucker for women.
Well, I live in the Montrose, so
Oh, it's different for you,
yeah.
but other men love women. Fred is, he's whatever. But
no,
he's
I love women.
Fred's fluid.
I love women, and Erica was so awesome, and she couldn't have been better, and everybody fell in love with her, and they're like, "Are you guys dating?" And I'm like,
"Oh, you wish."
No, they're looking at us, and there's a little chemistry there, right? And they're looking at us. I'm like, no, we're just friends. I'm like, nah, we're more than friends.
Nice.
But yeah, and she was great, and it was so cool to have her on. And we had a good time, man. It wound up being like a totally off the cuff, like old school Blitz show, and we would just show up and say, "Fuck it, who cares what's going on? Let's just have a show."
That's the way to do it, man.
And poor Brandon's trying to give Buddy picks and shit, and I'm like, "Man, shut the fuck up. Let's just do shots." And we had a
Happy
blast.
hour.
Yeah, we had a blast, and. I don't know if you heard the announcement on Monday, but Jerry Bow and I are going to do Mondays and Fridays together.
That's awesome.
And I'm so happy to have him back in my life, man. Other than you, he's the one person that I just miss being around. And, I don't want to say we had a falling out. We had a really piece of shit asshole friend that kind of drove us apart. And to this day, I'm really pissed because, and you weren't around by the time, and I'm like, it was, one of us should have seen it coming. But we got outplayed by this fat scumbag New York fuck who turned us against each other. And it was all bullshit. He was making shit up. And Jerry and I had the best time. Jerry and his wife came over Friday night. We might have got a little stoned. and then got on,
No,
and then
not you.
then we go over to PJ's. He's like, "Yeah, I want to hear you sing. I want to hear you sing." I'm like, "Bro, it's 11:30. I can't even get in." And I get over there, and I'm walking up the stairs, and this really hot chick says, "You look very stoned." I'm like, "Oh, you have no idea." And so she grabs my arm and helps me up the stairs. And so I go to Jesse, who does the karaoke, and said, "Man, I'm sorry I'm late. Can you put me in the rotation?" He's like, "Yeah, you're up next. Don't worry about it."
Of course.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Okay, good." Yeah, I mean, because his band opens for mine all the time. We do all kinds of gigs together, and man, we had the best fucking time, and we just talked shit out. And the main thing is, there was a lot of love for AJ Hoffman.
That's good to hear, man. Like I said, I think a couple weeks ago I told you that Jerry got very mad at me. Over COVID stuff that I had really no control over.
And I know that,
Um,
yeah. And we had a long
and
talk about that, by the way.
and you know, I've never had any ill will towards Jerry. I love the dude. I think he's very good at what he does. But yeah, he was upset with me, and he was upset with me about something that I really couldn't change, unfortunately. And you know, I've never had any ill will towards the dude. I like the guy a lot. I actually think, he was one of the guys who I loved his attitude. And there's a lot of guys want to get into radio. Not a lot of guys are willing to like do the shitty parts that get you in the door. And Jerry was always willing to do it, man. He was willing to do stuff like that isn't fun parts of radio to get more opportunities. And I've got a lot of respect for guys that are willing to do that shit. And like I said, I think kind of like you said, we didn't have a falling out, but we
Right.
just kind of faded apart. And I felt like he was upset with me for a long time. I don't think that's the case now. I hope.
No,
But
it's not. And you know what? We had a really good talk about that. And the truth is, we all kind of let we let shit get in the way of, our friendships. And in his case, I understand it. But, I also explained to him, you were in goddamn Oregon when all this shit happened. And I've always had your back on this.
yeah,
And it's just, if I blame anybody, it's goddamn Jason Braddock, because he went nuts. And I mean, no, he went nuts. And,
yeah.
and poor Jerry's family all wound up with COVID, and it wasn't your fault. It wasn't my fault. But at the time when we're all going through that shit, it's just a different thing, right?
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's an emotional thing. Like I get it.
yes,
But Fred, I think you can vouch for me. Like I'm not a bad guy. I'm not like a malicious guy. I'm a, if anything, I'm nicer than like I probably come off as on the radio. Unfortunately, I'm only a fake asshole on the radio, but I'm actually like a pretty nice, compassionate dude. And so it bums me out when people think I'm, like an asshole. I don't want to be that to the people that I know. So it bummed me out that that's how it came across to Jerry anyway. But I've never had an ounce of ill will towards the dude. So
no,
again, a lot of respect but for Jerry from me.
and you know what? I mean, me either. But it was, and this was a different thing. And you knew a lot about this because I was telling you about it the whole way. And the guy who promised us all this money and showed us the goddamn contract. And so we're making other investments based on that, right?
Yeah.
And then once it falls through, he starts telling lies to Jerry about me and lies to me about Jerry. And, I'm not going to call him out on the show here. I do want to fucking put a bullet in his head. I'm not going to lie. But, well, I mean,
Is it Chris Christie?
Close.
Okay.
Just think same body, right?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it was bullshit. And once I found out it was bullshit, and I should have contacted Jerry earlier and apologized because, but you know what? We're both great poker players. We read people well. And the thing that bothered me the most is that neither one of us saw what a fucking cunt this guy was. And he outplayed us. And if you can imagine that guy outplaying both of us, and it was embarrassing. And that's why it kind of took so long for us. But boy, once we got back, and yes, we talked about all the shit that happened with you, and it had nothing to do with you, and he knows that, and he respects you and loves you just like I do. And you know what? Sometimes it's good to get these people back into your life because, yeah, we talked a lot about it, and I'm like, dude, AJ was in goddamn Oregon burying his father-in-law. Can we not have a little, I always had your back on that, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, he didn't know. Nobody knew because you didn't tell anybody, and that's okay. But I did, and yeah. So we've reconnected, and I'm so happy we have because he's such a great guy. Other than you, he's the person I love most in radio, and it's weird how shit happens, right? Because we didn't talk for 2 years, man, and you and I always talked. I mean, ever since 97.5, which, oh my God, you see they just cleaned house again? What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I saw Craig Larson got it. That's the one, like, fuck. I thought Craig Larson could never get it, but
I thought Craig was a made guy, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Craig made it through a lot of bullshit, and then they got
shit.
Craig today. I was like, oh fuck, it's the Wild West right now. So yeah, that show, I think that show lasted like 6 months or something like that. That new show they had, and it's tough breaks, man. And I heard the plan of what they're gonna do there. Wouldn't be my plan, but I don't make any decisions around that place anymore.
Yeah, which is a problem because I mean, I don't want to talk out of turn here, but other than the COVID year, which by the way, we still had the highest rated show on the station and in the city. It just wasn't 4s and 5s. It was like 1.9 or whatever.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been the same since you were running things. And, I don't want to, but I mean, they wanted rid of you for some reason. And
well, the truth is, I wasn't really running. Like it was my job title to run things. But at the end of the day, like there was a lot of decisions that I wanted to make that like I took up the chain and got shot down. And they went different routes on things. And again, I'm not trying to give the tea on this shit because it's all business and I'm not looking to burn any bridges, but the things that made people the most mad at me when I was the boss were things that were out of my hand. Like,
right.
Like there were decisions that made on who was leaving, who wasn't leaving, that were not the decisions that I wanted to make, but I got overridden by the board. And it sucks because that kind of my job was to eat the shit on that. And you
did. It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair.
But it's all right, man. I understood it.
We talked about it at the time. It's like, no, I know that's not your call. And, I mean, like, listen, I've done management for years. And when you were running it, I was doing my best to be a friend and a mentor, right? Like I was giving you all the advice that I could without, getting in your way and letting you do your thing.
I know a lot about radio. I don't know a lot about management. Like
right.
that was new for me.
No, and I do know management, and that's what I was doing. And part of it is managing up, right? And we talked about this at the time. It's not about just managing your people. You got to manage up. And, that's hard to do, especially, and again, I don't want to burn any bridges either or say anything out of turn, but the people we were dealing with, yeah, I'll be honest, they weren't as smart as you. And that's hard. That's hard, man. And, and we talked about that a lot at the time. It's just like, okay, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to give them this. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too deep into this shit, but it was frustrating for me because you were great at that job. You could have been a god at that job if they just fucking let you do it. And that was what was frustrating to me.
Well, someone says, "Did you ask Barry?" And technically, at the end of the day, yes, I did. Did I want to? Absolutely not.
Right.
When it came down to it, the names that I gave that we should, if we had to make cuts, there was a really simple path for that in my mind, and that path got shut down, and they went the way that they wanted to go, and it wasn't the way I wanted to go, but it was still my job to deliver that news to guys like Barry and Raheel, who were my friends. And it
Right.
was, and it sucks when like you don't want to let guys go, and it's not your, like when you sit in this room and it's like, hey, this is what we got to do. How do we do this? And I presented a plan that I thought would work. They said, yeah, that's nice, but we want to keep that guy. So this is what we're doing, and it still had to be my job to tell those guys what we were doing. Wasn't a fun thing by any means, but it wasn't what I wanted. And there was a lot of decisions that got made. And the truth is, maybe I just came in at a bad time. Like being the boss during COVID is a shitty fucking time. It wasn't what I signed up for. I'll say that.
No, and none of us knew what to do there. And frankly, nobody knew what to do with COVID, right? And every radio station fucking failed then because nobody's in their cars. Everybody's at home. They're not listening. And that was kind of their excuse to get rid of us because, the truth is they didn't like that we had power, right? I mean, that's the truth. It's like they couldn't really touch us because we raised that station up. But then once that happens and they're like, oh, now you're a 1.79, I'm like, yeah, every other show in the city is a 1.5. Nobody noticed that.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, and I know when they made you do that, how much it hurt because we talked about it at the time. I love Barry too. I'm like, no, that's not the way to go. And in the end, they wound up getting rid of the people you were going to get rid of.
It was just a little after I left.
Yeah, and the truth is, man, and I just to this day am upset that because you were a goddamn very good fucking PD, you really were.
Thank you.
And I mean, getting through that shit with COVID, not many people could do. And you did it and you handled it and you took all the shit. I mean, I did my best to have your back and tell people, no, this isn't AJ. But that was so fucked up. And
it's not a job to make friends with, I'll tell you that.
No, and you got us through it. Well, I hope you and I stayed friends through it. But no, you got us through it. And I'm like, nobody is telling AJ, hey, great fucking job, man. Thank you for getting us through this bullshit. And it pissed me off. And not just because you're my friend, but like I said, I've done management forever. And I mean, I don't know how I would have dealt with that shit. I mean, I gave you my best advice, but I couldn't have told you what to do. And you fucking got us through that. And man, that whole station to this day should be on their knees sucking your dick. I'm sorry.
I don't know about that, but I think you're seeing now like it's tough, man. It's a tough job, and I don't think they even have a PD right now. But that may speak to what's happening. So it's funny because I love a lot of the people there. I don't wish anybody ill will at that place. I want that place to succeed because I had my fingerprints on it for a long time.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a struggle, man. My wife always says I'm a radio station killer because every radio station I've ever left has gone into the shitter. And I like to think that it's all because I'm so awesome that they just can't survive without me. But I think it's more of a timing coincidence thing. But It is again. I hope the best for the guys that are there. I love John and Lance. I'm cheering for that station. It's an uphill battle there for sure. So I saw David Gow out here at Vegas at the Super Bowl at Radio Row.
Yeah.
I actually saw Craig Larson too. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
wild how fast things go, man. But that was it's a tough business, dude. As you know, as I know, it's not an easy business, and there's hard decisions that have to be made, and it sucks to see guys that you're cheering for go, but it gets really bad when you start when you start cycling through shows really quickly, like when it's like
Right.
you're throwing stuff against the wall and nothing's sticking. And the wheelhouse didn't work. I have an idea of why the wheelhouse didn't work. I think they had some talented guys there. I just think that they didn't put the best group together.
Right.
And not all of them had the same motivations, the same goals. And that's very hard. But then this midday show, and again, I'm not trying to talk shit because I never heard the show. I'll be honest. I think I've had some interactions with with Josh Beard. I know he reached out to me for a job during a time when we certainly weren't hiring. But I think he's okay. I think he's decent at what he does. I don't have anything bad to say about him. I don't know anything about that other guy other than he worked at 790, and to me, he was the enemy.
Right.
But so I don't know how their show was, but anytime you a show lasts 6 months and you get rid of it, and then another show lasts 6 months, it's like, ooh, this is not a good sign. So that's unfortunate. Again, especially because I want the guys there that I know. I want those guys to have some success.
Well, and it's funny that you mention all that because I don't know those guys, and people were asking me Monday, oh, what do you think about this? And, what 97.5's doing. And I'm like, brother, I haven't listened to any of it.
Yeah.
I really haven't. And, it's rare what we did to have a show for 12 fucking years. And not just a show, but a successful show. And, and honestly, if not for COVID, if we wanted to still be doing that show, we would be.
Yeah.
I think. But you know what? I'd be happy with that, man. And everybody asks me all the time. It's like, what do you hate AJ? You guys worked together for so long. I'm like, I don't fucking hate AJ. It's like you work with somebody that long, you either hate them or you love them. And I tell them, I talk to AJ about everything now. He knows all about my stupid shit that I'm going through. I love AJ, and I would I'd kill a wombat to work with AJ again.
And people always thought because you and I didn't hang out a lot outside of work that we didn't get along. But the truth is, I don't hang out with anybody outside of work. I don't.
No.
I'm not a social butterfly. Fred and I we have very different mindsets when it comes to hanging out and socializing. Fred loves to be out and about, and that's not my thing. But it didn't mean that I didn't enjoy Fred's company or like Fred. I just don't like going out. But for you and I always got along. Anybody who thinks that we hated each other is it's ridiculous, because even when we were fighting on air, 9 times out of 10 it was for the show, and the 1 time out of 10 that it might not have been, we got it figured out by the next day. So
no, I mean, we always had this thing where it's over, right?
Yeah.
And we had a few times on air we'd get into it, and then by the end of the show, we just kind of look at each other and laugh, and then we'd go home. And by the next day, it's over. And, that's what, and I don't want to brag, but that's what made it such a great fucking show. We could totally get into it over something, and there was never anything personal. And if we had
the opinions every day, it'd be pretty fucking lame.
Right. And the few times it got personal, we'd say something to each other, and that would be it. It wasn't like, oh, I can't believe you said that about me. And say, hey, bro, that was maybe a bit far. And either one of us would just say, hey, okay, cool, you're right. We'll do it again tomorrow. And we do the same shit.
It's work.
And yeah, I mean,
Do the job.
I know. And, it's so, and I miss that. I'm not going to lie, man. My life kind of went to hell when that show ended. And I mean, it's just mostly because shit happens, right? But that was every day. That was our voice. That was our place. And we had all these relationships with all you guys who are tuned in today. And I miss that. And, and then I got the divorce and all this other shit. And I got to be honest, man, I felt like I had nothing anymore because, and then I go to work for Mac. Oh my God, we're not going to talk about that. But I mean, I made more money than I've ever made in my life, but it was fucked up. But man, I miss this, and I miss the show, and because we did have a voice. We did really, and like I still can't, and it's funny because my friend that I'm sort of dating didn't understand that we were kind of a big noise, right? I still can't go to a restaurant or a bar in this city without getting recognized.
You're you become very famous,
I'm
Fred.
very famous. It's like, hey, how's AJ? What's he doing? And I couldn't go into UH basketball games because the last two I went to, they got me on the goddamn big screen, and I'm like, what the fuck, man?
You're a very big star. Very big star.
No, I'm a big stoner, but
and you know what that means? You can grab them when you're a star. They just let you.
But no, the truth is, man, it's just, that show was, I mean, it made a difference in people's lives. And I appreciate that. And I love doing it. And I love doing it with you. And yeah, if the opportunity comes up, I'll tell everybody right now. I don't give a fuck what city it's in. It could be bumfuck Iowa. But if AJ and I can do a show together, I'll be there tomorrow.
Right on, baby.
And we'll have fun with it, and we'll do the same shit. And we'll make Iowa fucking... Oh, my God. People want to come
Des Moines will be rocking, baby.
Oh, people want to come to Des Moines to fuck because we're going to make it so fucking awesome. But yeah, man, it's just, and it's funny because, like, I mean, I still get asked that all the time. It's like, do you and AJ like each other? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, AJ's my brother. I love him. I mean, I would, like I said, I would go anywhere right now. Okay, so I had this conversation with my girl the other day. It's like, you're staying in Houston, right? I'm like, well, let's see what happens. And
she have an ankle monitor? Is she allowed to leave the state?
She's on probation. Stop. Dude, I had my friend do the best lawyering ever. But no, I told her the truth. It's like, yeah, the right opportunity opens up, I'm out of here. And I mean, I'll do the podcast. I can do it from anywhere. And
That's true.
I love Houston, but goddamn, I've had enough. It's I've been here my whole life, and you've had the opportunity to move around a little bit, so you appreciate it better. I've never been anywhere but Houston and LA and Galveston.
Yeah.
And goddamn, I'm 59 years old. It's
Gross.
time. I know. Deanna's asking, what did Erica do? Erica didn't do anything. She's just on probation. Please. I don't want to have that conversation. But AJ knows the whole story.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm nuts about her. And she's nuts about me, which is kind of cool. Because, I haven't had a relationship where somebody actually liked me more than I like them in forever. And AJ knows this.
Just don't get a dog with her.
Well, she already has a dog.
Look, let her have her dog.
No,
you have your dog.
She's got her dog. I got mine. She has a Belgian Malinois.
Oh, those are badass dogs.
Yeah, that is trained for security.
Nice.
And she bred him for years, right? You know how much she got per puppy?
How much?
He's retired now.
$1,500.
$3,000 a puppy. Yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, so Maverick's his name, and he's a great dog. and he hates everybody. You know how I won him over? I bought a whole fucking bag of treats when I met him. It's like, hey Maverick, hey Maverick. So now Maverick loves me.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm a scumbag. But no, I mean, we have a really cool relationship, and she's a great person. And, I don't know if there's anything there long term for a lot of reasons, but
You need to stop thinking long term.
I don't. I don't.
Good.
I'm thinking about tomorrow, and we have fun, and we do stupid stuff together, and I help her with a lot of shit. She's made me feel good about myself. Why does there have to be anything more than that, right?
Yeah.
I ain't getting married again.
Good.
So, yeah. And yeah, I mean, you just got to roll with it, man. It's just like um it's just fun having somebody that every now and then, oh, shut up, you dad. Do you help her with her homework? She's not in college, okay?
That's
All right,
assault,
all right.
brother.
You know what? Can I tell you this? She's 28 years old. She's got more degrees than me and AJ combined. All right? And we're not uneducated people.
I mean, I am. I'm kind of
Oh,
uneducated.
shut up. And Rod's 3.5 marriages was enough. No, listen, I'm not getting married, man. I'm not, and it's nothing serious. Listen, I'm in a cool place in my life where I can be myself. And, I may not see her for a month. I don't really give a fuck, you know?
She's got to go. She's got to be in jail or what?
Shut up. She's on
Oh.
probation. Asshole. No, but no, the truth is, it's like, I'm just rolling with shit now, man. I'm being me, which you should appreciate. And you should actually be happy that I'm living my life the way I am.
Dude, I'm happy for you. I'm always happy for you.
I know, but no, I mean, it's
You're like a wild stallion. You deserve to be free and just roaming.
And the truth is, it's not exclusive. And I met these two really hot blonde lesbian chicks Friday night.
You know what the worst part is, though, Fred? Let me interrupt. The worst part is when it's not exclusive and there's a hot person and an ugly person in the relationship. It usually means the hot person is fucking other people and the ugly person is just kind of like, well, okay. And I hate to break it to you, Fred, you're not the hot one.
Yeah, but I'll break this to you. I have gotten back to being the motherfucking Falcon.
Okay.
And I gotta tell you, if I wanted to get laid after this show and not her, it'd be like one text. Okay?
Okay.
So don't hate me. That's just me.
All right.
And no, I hope things work out, but I got no expectations. I told her there's no expectations. There's no pressure. It's like, if it works out, great. And if it doesn't, cool. I have them. I've got like a goddamn airport of women lined up, like airplanes waiting to take off. I haven't told her that because that's not cool. But the truth is, yeah, man, I can hook up anytime I want. I can hang out with other women. I just want to hang out with her.
Good for you.
And we'll see how it goes, right? Miles, how much you gonna pay her? No, I don't pay shit. I've never paid for shit, ever. AJ can vouch for this. As many times as we were in Vegas.
That's true. Fred would get propositioned, but he would not pay.
No, I would hook up, but I wouldn't pay. Yeah. Oh God, and Jerry and I were talking about that the other day. Oh my God, he's like, I can't wait to get back to Vegas for a poker tournament, so we can get back to doing what we were doing. Hey, you know what? He didn't know Tracy had died. And so he was heartbroken over that.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
I know. And we talked about it when it happened, but he didn't know. And I'm telling him, man, because we loved her and we all had so much fun with her. And he's like, God damn, Vegas wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be. Like if we went back out there for a fight, wouldn't be the same without her.
No doubt.
And so it really brought it back because it hit him hard too. Because as you know, we all hung out together.
Yep.
He loved her. So yeah, and because I'm hoping I need to scare up just a few more dollars. We're going to Lake Charles for a tournament 1st of March, and so we're going to play one big tournament every month. And yes, we'll get out there and see you, but we'll definitely be out for the World Series.
Nice.
I'm going to play the Old Man tournament. He's going to play the Colossus. It goes on at the same time. And then, so we have a deal together. And then we're going to play, and you're in with us on this. We're doing that goddamn team fucking tournament. You got to play with us.
Okay.
I mean, the three of us. Todd the Show, Love After a Lockup. Stop it. I want to be like Fred when I grow up. I'm not grown up. And Lamont. I love Lamont. Lamont, welcome in. Fred out there slaying 28-year-old ass. I don't know if I'm slaying it.
No, he's just, he's getting it.
Okay. You've been around me a long time. Okay, so there was a chick in San Francisco that was Salisbury's friend.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hottest one I've ever hooked up with. I don't know if you remember her.
I don't. I mean, Fred, you're a player. I can't keep up with all yours.
Yeah, you can.
As me, as a one-woman man, I can't. I'm like,
I know. You're married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm boring compared to you, Freddie.
Fuck off. But okay, so she's probably the hottest one I've ever hooked up with. But after that, I don't know of many that are hotter than this one.
Good for you.
And I mean, it's just hot, right? It doesn't mean shit. Like, but Raj, fight weekend in Vegas and dollar blackjack at Hooters Casino. Oh my God. God, I love Raj. We had so much fun with Raj.
Raj still comes out to Vegas every once in a while.
So yeah, listen, this isn't going to work out long term. I'm just going to make that clear, and I know that. But for now, I'm just going to ride the wave, man. And when it ends, it ends. Maybe a week, maybe a month. I don't know. Don't give a fuck. It's just you do what you do, and then done, and on to the next one. I should send you the picture of the one that asked me out Friday night and her friend.
You ain't getting hotter, Freddie. Come on. You need to.
I'm getting ballpark hot.
Okay.
I'll just say that. Well,
Good for you.
I'll send you the picture later. Don says, "I hope she's not listening to this." No, she's not, because
they don't get this. You can get 97.5 in jail. You can't get podcasting.
She's not in jail. You. No, but no, I send her the Restream link so she can have the private thing, right? Where it's just me, AJ, and her, and she's not in, so I know she's not listening.
Okay.
And Don is a fucking cool guy, by the way. I mean, listen, all you guys are so fucking cool. I mean, I'm so happy to have you back listening to us, and I appreciate you so much. You know what's really awesome about the Twitch now? We don't get scumbags anymore.
Yeah.
We just get people who like the fucking show and appreciate us for what we are.
That was the one thing about 97.5 is like you get people who listen to other shows and then you'd be on their radio station when they turned it on and they're like, oh, I hate this show. Like, don't listen. With this situation, people are you got to go out of your way to tune in to this thing. So I'll take that.
No, which is cool. And the guys that tune in are, I mean, they're P1s basically. I mean, there's a lot of them, but they really appreciate what we're doing. And, I'm happy that we're able to do this again. And I've told you, I mean, it's not bullshit. I miss doing the show with you. And so even though this isn't the same thing, it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
And I look forward to it every fucking week. And I've told people that. It's just like, no, you guys don't get it, man. It's just, I love going back and forth over shit. And those of you who have been listening, yeah, no matter what we talk about, we're fucking killing it. And it's either funny or it's intuitive, but it's not just, oh yeah, this is just Fred and AJ talking each. It's never been that way. The show was never that. Like, we could come in and both of us were in a shit mood, and somehow we'd find something to make everybody else laugh, and we'd get into some fucking topic where we're both just laughing our asses off, and it was awesome. So Miles says, y'all even talk sports, and I'm loving it. Well, we'll get to some sports in a minute because, it's college basketball season, and there's no better person on college basketball. I want to get to that, but I don't know how we got on this, but that's what I love about when AJ and I get together. We just get on whatever and we roll with it. I mean, we don't, like, I could sit here and put together like a fucking list of shit to talk about. Fuck that, man. I mean, this has been fun, and it's not at any point to denigrate 97.5. This is just us talking about us.
Yeah.
And that's it. And yes, it's at the Horseshoe, guys. But Don says, I'd hate to break up the Love Fest, but I had a sports topic. Can we discuss? Roll it out, bro.
Let's talk Matt Chapman free agency.
Yeah. So I guess the Dodgers won free agency again.
Yeah, I would say so. The Dodgers are going to be tough to fucking beat.
He wants to know, get your thoughts on the football ACC debacle with FSU and Clemson apparently making progress with divorce.
It's funny. I talked about this when the 5-7 thing came out this week, where it's like the top 5 conference champions, 5 highest rated conference champions, and then 7 highest non-conference champions. Because there's no Power 6 anymore. There's no Power 5 even.
No, it's Power 4.
But is the Big 12 even a power conference? I don't know.
I think they're up there with the ACC.
If you take
Florida State and Clemson leave.
If you take Florida State and Clemson out of the ACC, now you've got, let's face it, Florida State and Clemson wouldn't be going to the Big 12. So you'd have a Power 2, and then you'd have a next tier 2, the ACC and the Big 12, which are well below those top 2.
Right.
And then you've just got a bunch of nonsense. Like it's weird because the way that it's shifting, especially for like the Big 12 is the best basketball conference in the country, and it's not even close, really. But when it comes to football, especially when you take out Texas and Oklahoma, it's rough. And
it's okay. It's okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a lot of teams that are, I would say, basically the ACC minus Florida State and Clemson.
What's the biggest program in the Big 12? Like the best football program in the Big 12 besides Texas and Oklahoma?
Maybe Utah, maybe Oklahoma State. No, I know where you're coming from.
You see what I'm saying? And then, like, when you take out Clemson and Florida State out of the ACC, like Miami's, I guess, still sort of a big deal, but it's really, it's slim pickings, and the haves and have-nots in college football are more than ever. And the Big 12 and the ACC, when these things happen, I'll say this: the 5-7 thing is the best thing that could have happened to the Big 12 and the ACC, because it almost guarantees that as long as they're conferences, those will have one of the 5 highest rated conference champions.
But wouldn't it have been the same if it was 4 and 8?
Well, what if there wasn't a number? What if they said we're just taking the top 12?
Right.
And then the Big 12 and ACC started getting treated like they were, group of 5 teams.
But who's going to be the 5? Liberty?
I would hope not. I mean, Liberty played like the weakest schedule in the country last year. But again, if they, most people would say, I would say most years, if you were having a 12-team playoff and you take Oklahoma and Texas out of the Big 12, you take Florida State and Clemson out of the ACC, and let's put Notre Dame off to the side for a minute because they're sort of a different entity.
Right.
I mean, how often would it be if you said who are the best team, not the best records or the best resumes, but the best teams? More often than not, it's going to be 12 teams from from the Big Ten and the SEC. Like the fifth best team in the Big Ten or the SEC is probably going to be better than the ACC or the Big 12 champion going forward. That's just the way it is. So I think this is a good thing for the Big 12 and the ACC that they're going to have representation. I just think it's I would ask. Let me ask you this, Fred. If I gave you over under 5.5 years, which before a non-SEC or Big Ten team won a national championship, would you take over or under?
I would take over.
I think so. It just feels like it's the SEC Big Ten Invitational. It's
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. It's like because the teams that I would say might win, like Washington, well, they're Big Ten now.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. And look, I know you and I have talked about this a lot. I don't like the 12-team playoff.
Yeah,
but I would have been cool with 8. But now that we're here, I mean, 5 conference champions. That means like somebody from the Mountain West or the AAC or the Sun Belt is going to be in there every fucking time.
Yep.
And I think like that's cool. You should earn it though, right? And I like I said, I'd be cool with 4 + 8 instead of 5 + 7.
Yeah.
Because it really is only 4 power conferences at this point. And yes, the SEC and the Big Ten are way ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
And there's the ACC and the Big 12, and then there's everybody else.
Yep.
And yeah. And Lamont says with this new setup, Notre Dame can never be number 1.
That's not true.
No, I don't think that's true either.
No, because I mean Notre Dame gets to pick their schedule, and they, if Notre Dame's going to play USC every year, and USC is a Pac-10 or a Big Ten team now. Like if Notre Dame goes unbeaten, yeah, I think they can easily be number 1.
Well, and they have that brand, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's important. People forget that. It's like if Texas loses 2 games in the SEC, they might get in the playoff because they're Texas, right?
Yep.
Oklahoma, same way. And of course, being around UH people so much, they're all like, "Oh, we don't need Oklahoma. We don't need Texas." Yeah, okay. You do. For football, it's brand.
Yeah.
And they don't fucking get it.
They legitimize your conference.
Yeah. Now, basketball-wise, sure. Is Arizona better than those 2 combined? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what does that really mean? I mean, it's about football. It's about branding. And you and I have talked about this for years, man. It's you have to understand. And Lamont says, I thought the rule was 1 to 5 is guaranteed to Power 5 champs.
The seeding isn't matter. Like the 1 through 5 means that there's the 5 highest rated conference champions are in the tournament, not guaranteed any 1 through 5 seed.
Right.
And then in fact, this is probably the best thing for Notre Dame. Notre Dame's probably going to make this tournament every single year because they're not going to have to be involved with this many teams from this conference made it. Like it's probably the best thing ever for them. But their semi-association with the ACC and playing a partial ACC season it's going to be enough to get them as long as they don't stink. Like if Notre Dame doesn't have 4 losses, they're going to be in most years.
Yeah, I think a Notre Dame team with 2 losses is in every year. And, they'll get their ass kicked because they're Notre Dame, but whatever. And we'll see how it plays out. I was looking at how they seeded the teams for what would have been this year, right? And I'm looking at it going, it still would have wound up, same 4 teams,
Yep.
which you've always said, and I, you know, hate to
Much
agree.
ado about nothing.
I hate to agree with you about anything, but yeah, you're right. And all right, so damn, we've spent this whole show just talking nonsense, which is what the Blitz
Sounds
was
like the
all about.
Blitz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask you some college basketball stuff because you know UH had a couple of nice wins. Saturday they crushed Texas,
Yep.
but then they come back on the short 2 days, and I was so close to betting Iowa State. I'm glad I didn't, even though they covered, because they covered by a half. They covered by the hook, but that was one of the most grinded out defensive games you will ever see. And UH was never really in danger, I think. But goddamn, Iowa State plays as good a defense as UH does.
They are a poor man's UH. I
Yeah.
think that's the best way to put it. But that's a tough team. And if you run into that team in the tournament, it's gonna be hell to deal with. And it makes sense why that team was able to beat Houston at Iowa State. Such a tough home court to play at, but also because they're almost mirror images of each other. I think Houston's better,
and UH missed a bunch of fucking free throws in that game,
but also Iowa State got a bunch more free throws than them, and that's home court in college basketball this year is so important. More than ever probably. You have to for me to bet on a road team. There just has to be something really messed up, like in the number, for me to want to bet a home team or a road team, because home court advantage is so huge. And if you want to bet a home team, you have to do it early. Yesterday, I guess 2 nights ago now, I bet Nebraska at Pick'em against Indiana yesterday. And I was like, okay, this is a good number because Nebraska had opened up +1.5. And I was like, oh, I'm catching it before it goes to the other side. I think Nebraska's much better. I think Indiana's kind of quit on the season. And I said, this Nebraska team is due. But they were a road team. So I bet them at a Pick'em. I woke up the next morning, yesterday morning, and it was Nebraska +2. And I was like, oh, my God, was I just totally wrong on this? The market has no respect for anything but home court. And if you're betting a road team, you need to wait because money is going to come on the home team. It even happened, and it's not just like Nebraska and Indiana. The number 1 team in the country, UConn, was on the road at Creighton. They were a 2-point dog at Creighton, or a 2-point favorite at Creighton. And by the time it tipped off, Creighton was a 3-point favorite against the number 1 team in the country. And Creighton's been kind of a disappointing team this season.
Yeah.
But the market doesn't care about anything except where are you playing. So if you like a road team, you need to wait. If you like a home team, you really have to get in early because the number's never going to go. It's never going to help you to wait. So if you like a home team, you need to play it the night before. And if you like a road team, wait until an hour before tip off because money's going to come on these home teams.
Well, it's funny because we've been talking about the Big 12, and it is, Baylor's going to eat Houston's ass on Saturday, okay? They're 2-point favorites. They're probably winning by 10 or 15. But ever since we've been talking about this, I've been doing this on the Big 12. The home and road splits are ridiculous.
It's wild, man.
Maybe more than any other conference. And I with UH. UH is the first time I thought about betting against them at home because I just thought with the 2-day turnaround and the fact that Iowa State plays great defense, and it wound up being a coin flip, right?
But what's it come down to? If you liked Houston and you bet them early, you won, and if you didn't, you lost. So It's like it really depends on when you wanted to buy that thing.
But ordinarily, I would have just okay, well, I know Houston at home. I see what they do. Their average margin of victory is 20 points.
Yep.
But this was a situation where I didn't feel good about it because I knew Iowa State could play defense, and a 2-day turnaround. And so I'm glad they won because thank you so much. But you know, I also just didn't feel like they were going to win that game by 20.
I mean, Houston's one of those teams where if the NCAA tournament were played at the Fertitta Center, Houston probably wins the national championship.
Oh, yeah, they win the national championship. Not a question.
But there's about 10 teams in the country you can say that about. And
right.
like Kansas is another one.
Kansas, Arizona,
Iowa
State. There's a lot of them.
So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see these teams that have, they have such valuable home courts, how it works out when they're on a neutral. And that's why I think this has been like, I'm up 50 units betting college basketball this season, which
well, you're always up because you're a god.
It's going great, but I'm a little nervous about when home court's taken out of it. And it's not as simple as, okay, how much is home court really worth? Because when you put these teams on a neutral and you don't get that friendly whistle, how's it going to work out? So it's going to be a different handicap come the middle of March. But right now, I mean, until we get to those conference tournaments, like March 12th or 13th, whenever it is, I mean, it's again, you've got to find a reason to want to bet against a home court. And you mentioned the Baylor-Houston game.
Yeah.
As much as I love Houston, I think Houston is one of the 5 best teams in the country, no doubt.
You got to bet Baylor.
I'm not betting on Houston this weekend. I just
No,
can't.
me either. And I love them. You know me. I'm like, I'm fucking wearing UH. Well, no, I'm actually wearing Maple Leaf socks, but I have UH socks. I can't bet them. I got to take Baylor, right?
Baylor's lost. They've lost one home game all year. It was in triple overtime.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and Houston's really good. Again, don't get me wrong, but I'm certainly not going to be. And Houston's projected to win every game by KenPom, and I think they're the one team all season that was projected to win every game. They were projected to go 31-0.
Yeah. That was never going to happen.
But they're still projected to go 5-0 down the stretch. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not.
4-1.
But I think this is their best opportunity to lose, and that includes a game at home against Kansas.
Yeah, they'll beat Kansas at home.
I mean, think about this. They may be favored by double digits hosting Kansas, which is wild to think about. And I don't think Houston is 10 points better than Kansas, but is Houston at home 10 points better? I guess you can make the argument.
They might cover that. Yeah.
They might.
Jerry Bow is in the house. Welcome.
What up, Jay Bow?
Yeah, we were talking about you earlier, brother, and nothing but love. Hey, how about my hockey picks lately? Have I steered you wrong in a while?
You haven't, man. You've been killing it.
Goddamn, last night was Leafs over and Leafs team total. And the one thing I didn't tell you guys was Austin Matthews to score a goal was plus 110. I'm like, this motherfucker is scoring every goddamn game. Of course, 2 last night. He's at 51. So, anyway. Hey, Lawyer Dave's in the house. Let's see if this actually works. I'm going to invite him in.
There he is.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys.
Yay!
Look at that fucking guy. Look at that Lawyer Dave.
He did this the other day, and I'm like, no, nothing. Can't hear him. All right, so say hello to AJ.
Hey, AJ. How are you, buddy?
Hello, Lawyer Dave. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you, too.
So what are the things in the background there? Is that one of your diplomas?
Well, that one there is the American Board of Trial Advocates. I was elected to be a member of that. There's about 0.5% of the lawyers in the United States that are a part of that. They elected me. Don't ask me why. This, I think, was when I was on Law Review. This one over here on the left is when I worked for Tenneco, and we had one of our oil rigs explode in the Gulf.
Okay,
so they gave you a trophy for that shit?
Yeah, that was your fault. What the fuck?
Well, everybody got paid. Okay, everybody got paid. That's all I can say.
Well, this is a tree. That's what I got. I got a tree
in desert.
Yeah.
And I have the maple leaf behind me. So
Fred has a waitress. It's working out for him.
Yeah. What's your wager, Fred?
She's really hot too, and she likes.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been there once with you, Fred, and I think the bartender started talking to me like she knew me, and darned if she didn't.
Well, no, she did. She knew she knew Rachel real well. They were best friends.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. So and she was like, I mean, she was just sobbing when she met you. By the way, all right,
Yeah.
not to bring things down.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right, let's get the positive shit. Tell the people.
so here's a question for you boys.
Purple.
Okay, well,
Correct.
6 inches.
Our Michigan's quarterback is selected to go in the first round. People think he's going to go number 9 to the Raiders.
The
What do you guys
Raiders.
think?
I think J.J. McCarthy's one of the weirder kind of conundrums there, because he didn't like the style of football he played in college wasn't a pro style at all. Like
No.
they basically didn't ask him to do anything. But from everything I've read, he's got all these skills. I mean, he does look like he's a pretty good player. We just haven't totally seen it.
I thought he came out a year early myself. But.
I kind of am surprised as well.
Yeah,
but,
I agree with both of you. I think he needed another year, but whatever.
But you know what? That's the way it works.
Drafted in the first round.
Yeah, if you're getting drafted in the top 10, especially, you're doing the right thing. Ask Matt Leinart, who he decided to stay at college an extra year and fucking play. I forget what it was, like some sort of acting class or some bullshit, and some winemaking course or whatever, so he could play an extra year of college football, and it cost him millions and millions of dollars. I think it was ballroom dancing, but I bet Matt Leinart can dance. But J.J. McCarthy's one of these guys who I am not convinced, but I'm also like when I've seen J.J. McCarthy throw the ball, I'm like, okay, this guy's got some legit skills.
Yeah, most people in Michigan say he
wasn't asked to do much,
but in their mock, what do they call it? Their mock where they throw footballs and run and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like the pro day.
Really accurate. Can hum the ball 60 yards with ease. Makes the difficult throws to the corners. I mean, we didn't see it watching Michigan play this year, but if he's got those kind of skills, he can be developed, and he's a hell of a lot farther ahead than Fields was when the Bears got him.
Yep.
I think he's got a little Brock Purdy in him.
That's a good thing.
Would be my description. Yeah. So anyway.
So AJ, we've got a handler at the Cosmopolitan because my wife is an inveterate slot machine loser, which costs me thousands every time we go.
It
I'm
happens.
okay with that. But the handler told me that the word after the NFL season this year was that on a weekend where the Raiders played in Las Vegas, overall revenue for the city or the county or whatever, 2.5% more. That is a huge increase in revenue. And the next thing I heard, maybe you can verify or think about this, is are they going to knock down one of the hotels and build a baseball stadium?
Yeah, they're knocking down the Tropicana, which is right there across from the MGM. There's MGM and then New York, and then Excalibur and the other corners Tropicana. They're going to knock that down, and that goes all the way there's a big empty space there that they used to use for concerts, but that's where the big shooting happened.
Right.
The Mandalay shooting.
Yeah.
Which we were at for the Mayweather McGregor fight.
Yeah, it's right where we were at. So they're moving or they're taking over all that space and putting the ballpark there.
Well, how do you think baseball is going to do in Vegas? I mean, football is a one every couple of week kind of an event. Do you think they're going to have 84 games worth of fans?
I think when you put the ballpark on the Strip, people will show up. I mean, it's like the hockey team. Like, you can't get tickets to the Golden Knights games because either people come in to see their team play, or they're just in Vegas and they're like, "What do we want to do tonight? Let's go to a game," and it's right there, and so they go out to the game. And if it's right there on the Strip, which it's going to be, people are going to go to those games. And the stadium that they've proposed is like a very small stadium.
Oh, really?
So it's going to be like, it'll be $high tickets, and it'll be a show. It'll be like the place to be. And if whether or not the A's are ever any good, who knows? I imagine if they put them here, they're gonna have to spend some money.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think people will go to those games. I think people will be excited just to go to ball. Like, They'll be excited to go see the ballpark. It's exciting. Like, people get excited to do anything in Vegas.
Yeah,
It's like
true.
you can go do this in your hometown, or you can go do it in Vegas, and people want to do it in Vegas for whatever reason. It's
Right.
like it's like a whole different experience. And
Yeah.
the thing about people in Vegas is they stop thinking about money. They
Oh,
stop
Lord,
thinking.
tell me about that.
They stop thinking about their bills. They stop thinking about their mortgage. They just think, we're here to have a good time. We're going to do what we do, and we'll figure it out later. And if that means, hey, we're going to drop $300 on baseball tickets, people will fucking do it. That's just what they do here, man. It's crazy, but that's what they do.
Yeah, I spent $1,400 for 2 tickets to see Luis Miguel, and didn't bat an eye.
I don't even know who Luis Miguel is.
I
But it's
don't either. I'm
hey,
like,
you're
what
living your
the
best
fuck?
life. Good
Yeah.
for you.
You guys are not hip at all, man.
Good for you.
Anyway.
Oh no, we're old white guys. Fuck
Yeah.
you. So
Okay.
but I'll say this.
Fred, are you drinking Rumpy?
Yes,
course
I
he
am.
is.
I am, and you should be over here. I'm over at the Maple Leaf. But here's the truth: nothing is ever going to be bigger than the goddamn Golden Knights in Vegas.
Probably not.
No, they have owned that city. They've won a Stanley Cup, and like every time I go there, it's holy fuck. It's a Knights game.
Yeah.
The whole fucking city stops. And I know you've been there too, Dave, when that happens.
Yeah, I have. I also got to see them play in Chicago a couple of years ago. That was a great game. I love hockey. In fact, did you hear that Fertitta is really stepping up the heat to bring a team to Houston?
I've heard, and we actually talked about this on my podcast this morning about the Arizona Coyotes, who they're playing in front of 4,900 people every night because that's all their arena can hold right now. And it's like, there's no way that's like a sustainable business model. And they're like, well, we'll just move the team out to Mesa, Arizona. Like, that's somehow going to help. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if that's the play. Like, Houston's a town. I mean, Houston's such a big city. There's people from all over the place.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Like, Fred, you mentioned how Vegas is with this hockey team. I think it's because the Knights kind of broke the cherry for Vegas sports.
That's true.
I don't know if it would be the same in Houston, but I do think that people would at least care enough to make it viable, you know. And
it would do great because we have so many people who have, like, most of our city now is people from the Midwest.
Yep.
People from Canada. You know this. I mean, you know, that's why our show is so successful. We cater to everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, the franchise value goes from 500 million to 3 billion the minute they move here.
Shocking.
Yep.
And
all these guys from Oakland will come down like they do for the Raiders.
Well, but the thing is, Arizona could be successful. They need to be back downtown where the Diamondbacks are.
Mm-hmm.
They sold out every game downtown, but then they moved to Scottsdale, and then they moved to Glendale, and now they're in this goddamn college hockey thing. It's like the owners have done everything to fuck this up. I mean, Arizona is not a bad hockey town. It's just they have fucked this up.
They really have.
Yeah.
Well, since you're way ahead of me, Fred, you fucker, AJ, it's a couple hours early for you to start drinking out there. I'm gonna go back to my house and get my drink on.
Enjoy it, my man. Enjoy it.
Good to see you, AJ.
Or you can just come pick me up and let's go someplace and do something stupid. But
yeah,
anyway,
you could be Fred's DD.
Yeah.
Great.
But first, wait a minute. We haven't talked about your.
Whoop. Where'd Fred go?
I don't know. We haven't talked about it, though.
AJ?
We haven't talked about it.
Did somebody off the host?
No, he's back.
No, he's back.
Sorry. Somebody called me. Just tell everybody about what you do and why they need to call you. That's all.
Well, I do as little as possible.
That's how you get all those fucking trophies on the wall.
That's right.
You blow up a rig, you get a trophy.
I mean, they're shitty trophies, but hey, he's got them.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're not well earned at all. Fuck that. No, I represent people that get hurt anywhere, any place, anyhow, throughout the United States. AJ, I don't know if you knew this. I was took the opportunity to go to the Netherlands and be part of a team arguing a case in front of the World Court, where you
Nice.
currently see the Israelis and the Palestinians trying to come to some kind of an agreement, although that's hopeless. But that was
I'm
quite
sure
an
they'll
honor.
work. I'm sure they'll work things out.
Oh yeah,
They seem
yeah,
very
they're all.
close.
Yeah,
It's almost there. You're just down the home stretch.
But anyway, if anybody has a legal question, even 713-626-8900 is my number. Fred knows how to find me. When he's sober enough to dial his phone, he hits up Lawyer Dave regularly. Although the prick didn't come to my house when I invited him to come out for Super Bowl Sunday with Mags and Annabelle and my wife and I. How about
Fuck,
that?
I didn't even see your email or text until after you said it was too late. So fuck off.
Okay.
And then Mag was like, "Yeah, I'll take you." I'm like, "Bro, I didn't even see the text." You know, I get like fucking 200 texts a day.
Fred's very famous,
Fred,
Dave.
I know you're famous and you're really busy.
I am actually busy. I'm actually.
One more thing, I guess, before I go.
But go ahead. Yeah, finish your shit, and then I gotta respond to.
Such an intro, man. This guy's glorious.
Finish your shit, Dave.
Really?
Yeah, and then come
the
pick me
latest
up.
shit
And
is
let's go have some drinks.
I'm looking for a literary agent to publish my book, and which I took the better part of 20 years to write. It's an adventure spy novel, and the people that have read it, they're being kind to me, say it's a scintillating, can't put it down read. So anyway, anybody out there that has published something or knows somebody, hit me up through Fred so I can talk to him, because
Fred's a published author.
What's that?
Fred's a published author.
He is. I believe Jesus Done Left Chicago was his first major literary work, if I'm correct.
I don't know if I would call it that. I would say the Sports Betting Blitz style was maybe his first major
one. That was a good one. The sports betting bit. Anyway.
How about Aces for Races?
That Acing Racing, it's called, Dave. Yeah. Get it right. Come on.
God damn it. It's such
Show some respect.
Book. I can't remember.
All right. You know what, Dave? I love you, brother. I
love you too, brother.
I need to see you soon. But we're about to run out of time because
I'm blabbing.
I'm a cheap ass and I can't afford more than an hour and 15 minutes. So I love you and I'll see you soon, man. We need to get drunk soon.
Thank you, brothers. Good to see you both.
Right,
always, man. Dave.
Adios.
All right. And AJ, I'll see you soon. And we got a lot of shit to talk about.
Oh, yes.
Somebody was asking, the fuck. There was something that was kind of pertinent. I don't know what the fuck it is. Anyway, I don't care because, now I'm getting.
You're living your best life, Freddie.
Yeah, but hey, man, I love you, brother. We got a lot of shit to do together. The future is, to quote the late, great Tom Petty, the future is wide open.
That's right, baby.
Yeah, but man, yeah.
The sky was the limit.
But yeah,
all right, brother.
So I'm going to go have one more drink here.
You might have had enough. You might take it down for the night.
I'm going to go meet my girl.
Okay.
And hope to get laid, but whatever.
I would not have the drink if you're hoping to get laid, is my recommendation.
Oh, dude, I got like fucking blue fills out the ass.
Oh, okay. Well, you're good.
I'll take like 7 of them. I don't care. But no, I mean, anyway. So Half Nielsen. Somebody was asking me, what about the cook-off? Yeah, I'll be there Saturday. Okay, and AJ's gonna get so mad at me. So I got tickets for my girl and this guy she's mentoring. And
by mentoring, do you mean like
No.
Oh.
She, the whole rehabilitation shit. So
yeah.
She's trying to help him. And I'm trying to help him too, because he loves poker, so I'm coaching him a little. So she wants tickets for them. And there's these 2 blonde. Okay, this is just between us.
Just between us girls.
I met these 2 incredibly hot blondes Friday at PJ's when I was stoned. So I'm getting them tickets. Because if this shit doesn't work out with Erica, I'm like,
You got to be prepared.
I know, you got to have backups, right?
That's right.
That's how we roll. You're my coach. You know this.
Of course.
It's the first thing you tell me. Always have a backup, motherfucker.
That's right.
So this is 2 backups, and they're
Good for
both-
you.
I'm gonna text you the photo of both of them when the show's over, and you're gonna be like, "Okay, I'm cool with that."
All right.
I mean, maybe they're not as hot as Erica, but they're goddamn close.
That's all that matters.
All right, hey man, I love you, and thank you so much for doing the show today.
Of course, brother.
And I promise you, next month I'll get you paid again.
All right.
But you're the best, and I hope that whatever happens in the next few months, it involves us both.
I hope so too, brother.
All right, man. Have a good day, and thank you so much. This has been
Of
so
course.
much fun.
All right, bro.
All right. I'll see you soon.